Our YouTube channel, a lot of people have been talking about, Russell Brand. I haven't gotten a chance to talk about him, but I did tweet about it. I don't really care, what people's beliefs are on what he did or didn't do. The fact that this is being pushed out now it signals that nobody cared until he presented some sort of threat, or he said something they didn't like at the very least. And I think people have gotten so focused on, of course, always that side where they're focused on, oh, we have to believe this and that, but that's not what I'm arguing. I am arguing that you have to understand the manipulations behind this. But Russell Brand is not the first one to be demonetized. He's extremely high profile, but we have been demonetized, and so have many others have had their channels taken away from YouTube for years. As Pasta said, we've been going on 3 years of demonetization, and not just demonetized videos, but the entire thing demonetized. Because we were ahead of the ball, because we were ahead on COVID, because we were ahead on the fourth industrial revolution, because we were ahead on other things. And like us, people like Ryan Christian were also completely demonetized and taken off YouTube as well. And there have been people, that have been really going through it. This is nothing new. This is what we've been saying, both of us. It's coming. It's not going to stop. Caleb Maupin said they took out all his RT videos recently. So this isn't going to stop. And it doesn't seem like Rumble is entirely doing that great either. So there's a lot of things really happening. And I think this is, an opportunity for people to really seek as many outlets as they can to really tell their story, to really talk about these things. Because again, we were also persecuted with our GoFundMe, with our Give Send Go. They took the money back, that sort of thing. All of the stuff that people are going through now has happened to us already. So, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. But I do think it is backfiring. I think it's backfiring on because people are now saying, well, why are they doing this? Why don't they want us to hear this side of the story? So I do think there's been a little bit of a shift there for the good.
Well, the crazy thing is too, as well, when it came to Russell Brand, he's going to be one of the first to be suspended, or not suspended, but demonetized. And don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that Kurt Metzger pointed out the other day on the show, is that Russell Brand was one of those guys who's got such a big following that he's going to actually make money with advertising when they run ads, right? For us, we really never depended upon ads. We didn't have a huge audience, but we were live streamers, and we always depended on our super chats, and they took that away, just the mechanism in which we can do that. But with Russell Brand's show is that they're going to still run ads on his shows. They're just not going to give him any of it, right? And this is another thing when it comes to our laws. The other day, fam, my mom was watching the show called Vice, this movie Vice, and it was about Dick Cheney. And it showed the manipulation of everything going on, especially the manipulations of war, the way they reclassified things to give themselves more control. And that's what this is always about at the end of the day. It's about the ruling class getting more power, more voice for themselves, and taking away from you so you have less say, less money, less finances, less of a voice. That's what it's all about. So they're going to still run ads on his clip. They're just not going to give him the money. And there's so many ways, these companies, and don't people out there go, they're a private company. No, they've entered into agreements with the citizens. They have public easements. They use our satellites. They use our land to put their poles up, their communication. And then they've also entered an agreement with Section 230 of the NDAA, which says they cannot pick winners or losers, that they are shielded from any litigation, meaning we as citizens are not allowed to sue them. It's like qualified immunity that the big pharma gets. Well, they get shielded from any litigation with their agreements. And in those agreements, they say they have to act fairly across the board. Well, number one, they're not transparent. So we don't know what's going on under the hood. It's kind of like our elections. And number two, they are not acting fairly. They are acting, they are using these protections and being irresponsible. And at this point, I don't know what we have to do to stop them. But it does seem like there has to be some type of shift. I'm not talking about revolution, kind of revolution. I don't know, because I don't know what it's going to take. But it is ridiculous. It's ridiculous with what's going on with the war. Zelensky was just here with his tin cup waving it around, asking for more money. And you have all these people. Fam, I'm a newspaper guy. Look who's right there on the cover right there. You got Chuck the Schmuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell walking with Zelensky. It's ridiculous. People are out here homeless on the fucking street, starving their ass off, getting thrown out of their houses, and they're doling out money like it's hotcakes to Ukraine for death and destruction, for people to kill themselves. And what did our elected officials say? Hey, fam, we haven't lost one American life. Hey, fuck you, Lindsey Graham. Life is a life, and that's what we got going on. I do, fam. I brought one little quick clip of Russell Brand, and I figured since we're talking about it, we can clip it up and put it up. Would you like to hear the real reason why they're getting rid of Russell Brand?
Sure.
Check this out, family. This is from Terrible.
Some facts. The pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than two-thirds of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just mention that finally, and this is also a fact, that the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. It's difficult not to...
But I will just add one thing. It is possible that these are greedy capitalists who made a lot of money.
All I'm querying is this.
Yeah.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elites.
There it is, fam. That's it on the nose right there. And, that's the linchpin. If you have an industry, a corporate industry where they make money and they profit off the solution, they're going to create the problem, and they're going to manipulate everything to make a problem. This whole argument, fam, that we still keep hearing going on over here, well, I got to give it to the Republicans. Now they've pivoted, fam. Now they've gone to what Nikki Haley's been saying for a couple months. Bill Kristol came in with a video. Oh, we got to stop Russia because stopping Russia is stopping the Chinese. So they understand they're part of the base they're tweaking at and going after, and they're kind of going after that. But this whole argument that Ukraine's freedom and sovereignty is connected to our freedom and sovereignty, fam, please go ahead.
No, Ukraine is just the excuse, as we all know, and he's right. This is something that for somebody like him to say, it's a big deal because he has a huge platform. It's not that nobody else hasn't said it before. It's the fact that he has a huge platform, and he literally said this on national television, and he had people cheering for him while he was saying it. I think what people don't realize, because in a lot of these audience shows, you're told when to clap, when to not clap. But what people don't realize is that a lot of the American public knows that they're being lied to. They know that they were lied to about COVID at this point. They know that the Ukraine war is bullshit. They know that things are not good at home. I have a lot of friends that are non-political. They're having issues with their jobs. Everybody notices the high cost of just going out to dinner at the grocery store. The wages are stagnant. People are getting laid off. These massive corporations are buying up all the property, just as we said with the fourth industrial revolution. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. Cars, even older cars, are worth a lot more money now. It's so expensive to even own a car. So what we're seeing is just the demise of public ownership. So for the people that are private ownership, for the people that are capitalists, that talk about, crony capitalism versus good capitalism, whatever, it's not happening. Like, people are not owning anything. Small businesses are not generating any wealth. They're going under. And so people know that there's shit going on. The problem is they don't know what to do about it. And they don't know how to channel the fact that they know in any other way than just keep going. Because that's all people have time to do, is go to work and take care of their families and then go back to work. So that's how the American public lives. And there's a difference between that and how other people in other parts of the world live. Because in Russia, in Moscow, even though it's a big city, people have a little bit slower pace of life. It's a little bit slower here. People don't work as much. They don't they don't work to live, or they don't live to work. They work a little bit, and then they have their lives. But in the US, we're used to living only to work. And so what he said is really important. Yeah, well, and it's not even good, fulfilling work for most people. We're lucky we get to do what we love to do, but the vast majority of people don't. They don't get to do what they love to do. They just have to work to make money, to put a roof over their head, to feed their families, and that's it. And so it creates an existence of just not feeling like you're actually doing anything of value. And then you can go on and talk about, that's why we have, this opioid crisis, a lot of mental illness. We don't have a good health system. You can't call an ambulance because you feel sick, because it's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars. So it's just one giant thing, snowball effect with everything else. And so he's just pointing this out to a bunch of normies who don't really hear this stuff. They're not you guys. They don't talk about this stuff. And they're like, wow, yeah, this is true. This makes a lot of sense. And that's why it's effective, and that's why it's dangerous. And that's why they're going to continue running ads on ours, on anybody else's stuff, especially people that have a huge platform like he does, because this they don't care about us. So they don't care if you make money or if whatever. They are solidifying a relationship with the entities that control thought and propaganda in the United States. And that's no conspiracy. That's a known fact.
And that particular audience was a Bill Maher audience. I would say that's 75% of that audience got the vax, right? Like, I'll say that right off the bat. So when they see that, the ruling class, the elites, it's got to scare the shit out of them. When you get a shit liberty audience clapping like that for the guy who's saying the stuff we've been saying for quite some time. Jimmy just did Russell Brand's show, and I heard it was awesome. We watched some clips of it. I'm going to watch the whole thing. So that's great. It is just interesting right now. But I mean, as things, even like more information comes to light, I think you said it, people understand that it's going on now, fam. They just don't know what to do about it, right? But as people do understand more clear that they've been completely played, that everything they've been taught is a lie, there's going to be some moving around, some snapping, shaking, and stuff going and happening. There's going to be a lot more things to talk about. So it's going to be interesting. I think me and Fee are kind of in some interesting positions right now. I mean, we started this almost 7 years ago, right? When we first started getting started in 2017, I think it is. So, I mean, it's coming. It's like we're going on 6.5, 7 years right now, guys, of doing this. But obviously, we've gotten to some really good positions where we can continue to do our work. And I think that, everybody in this chat right now, I saw that DC is showing some love over on Rumble. I just got to say it to you guys, and I think Fee, I'll let her speak for herself. I won't speak for her, but I'll speak for me. But I bet she'll agree that this has been a team effort thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been citizen journalists for quite some time, but your citizen advocacy was really important. Taking our shows, sharing it, keeping us going. Anytime we needed to get somewhere. I mean, I still think the work we did in Nicaragua was pretty awesome. I think we're going to be sharing a video tomorrow on Jimmy's show about Johnny, when I was filming Johnny going around showing the elections, because the election stuff is going to be coming into play right now. So we're going to be talking about that. And and that system is just so ridiculous. It is what it is. But I think it was a great team effort. We've put ourselves in a position to be able to do some great work, and it's only just going to increase from here. So thank you to everybody who's shown the love and who showed up here today. You guys are really amazing. You're pretty fucking awesome. And I think that's we got to put a bow on that section. There's a little Russell Brand for us, fam.